Alright, YouTube, for the obvious shills that were on my videos for the last couple of days saying, oh, Assange doesn't have anything related to Clinton. I told you so, didn't I, that he was going to wait? I told you several times, for several weeks, honestly. And you continued to claim I was wrong. Well, I guess who's laughing now? It's me. Wikileaks has just released tens of thousands of emails involving John Podesta, one of these Clinton-involved individuals, and I looked through a few of them. Most of it is just the sort of juvenile banter that you would expect in emails within a political campaign, talking about news stories and using weird asides, often a lot of spelling errors, which frustrates me enough, so I don't want to look through too many of them at once, because I edit things and write books for a living. So it really bothers me when I see that sort of thing. I just want to go through and tell these people they should be hiring me per hour to spell check their emails, or at the very least they should get some sort of system that can recognize their stupid speech and turn it into something that's actually capable of being understood by the average human being, and it doesn't just sound like ogre babble or something like that. Honestly, that's what half of these emails look like. But we'll wait and see what the most damaging stuff is from this. We're not exactly sure what that might be, because there are literally tens of thousands of them, so it'll take people a little while to comb through them. Wikileaks has a relatively sophisticated search system in place for people to go through. You can search by keyword and ID and so forth, and names, and so people will comb through this. I'm sure the media right now, at least those groups within the media that care and don't think WikiLeaks is like Russian spies or something, they're digging through it, sifting through it, trying to see what would be in it, probably email by email with a group of dozens of people. They'll be done by tomorrow, probably. And then we'll get to see what unholy shit is in there, essentially. This is more damaging than the two previous videos of the day. Where Trump is a womanizer. Okay, I'm really surprised about that, considering the number of marriages he's been in, who his wife is now, and so forth. I never would have guessed that he liked women. I thought he was like totally asexual or something. And then Clinton coordinating with the Obama White House on her server. I'm so surprised. I never would have guessed that the former Secretary of State would ask the president within her own party for help uncovering the media. I never would have guessed that that could possibly happen. It did, obviously. Those leaks are minor. WikiLeaks is where the real gold is. But keep in mind, there's at least one more individual right now, other than this whoever. I don't even know who released the Trump tape. You've got the Trump tape. You've got WikiLeaks moving in. You've got the RNC doing FOIA stuff. But you've also got James O'Keefe. And he claims mid-October he's going to be releasing a tape of Hillary Clinton saying disparaging things about black voters. If that happens, the election's over. It's going to destroy her campaign. It wouldn't even matter what Trump said or did at that point, because Hillary Clinton would start losing vast swaths of territory. She'd probably lose Virginia. She'd probably lose Pennsylvania, obviously. Florida would be well out of her reach. She might even be endangered in a place like New York at that point. And it's probably real, which is another reason why, unless he's caught out as being a total liar, he has nothing. Says, oh yeah, the dog ate the tape. Sorry, I didn't have a backup in reality. It was just to keep, the assassins from killing me, and I just bought an Alex Jones water filter and a lot of special iodine or something like that. Unless it turns out that he's just a total attention-whoring shitfuck. And considering he took down Acorn, I don't have a reason to believe that he is. That's probably a net advantage for the Trump campaign, you'd think. Especially since WikiLeaks is going to release a couple more batches before the election as well. In fact, I think 3 total. Actually, maybe 4. Yeah, actually, I believe 4. Yeah, it's going to be pretty good. Obviously, they would save the best for last. So 50,000 emails involving like Podesta and sort of the upper staff of the Hillary campaign are the weakest of the leaks that they're going to be doing. There must be some pretty good shit in the next 4, honestly. Or 3. Maybe he'll take a week off. So yeah, I was busy, shit posting online. What else am I gonna do? I'm stuck in this embassy. I can't even go outside, essentially. So yeah, you've got a new WikiLeaks leak. Just like I told people there would be. Those that lost faith or think that Julian Assange is just shitting it up for attention while he sells copies of his books or something. You were always wrong to begin with. You were provably wrong. Wikileaks has been among the most active firms in online activism as far as a site that predominantly lets people know what it's just leaked through Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. So I never had any doubts that he had this material because it would have been asinine for him not to. You've got a site that essentially has a 100% hit rate insofar as its leaks go. It would be very strange if on something as major as a presidential election they suddenly came up short and said, oh yeah, by the way, we were just joking. We don't actually have anything to leak. We're going to be closing our site down because fuck you, or something like that. It's never going to actually happen. So this one is more damaging than the previous two leaks. We already know Trump's a sexist. We already know there's collusion between the White House and the Clinton campaign. It's not a secret. Everybody already knows these things. Any voter, by the way, that would be swayed by these things has already been swayed. Anybody who cares about a presidential candidate being a philanderer is not going to vote for Trump. They never were going to vote for Trump. They weren't going to vote for Trump when he barely entered the race back at the dawn of the primaries. Anyone who cares about the fact that Obama is colluding with Clinton was already not going to vote for Clinton. They probably don't like Obama or Clinton. They're probably a partisan Republican. Undecided voters obviously haven't decided yet based on this, relatively large and increasing group of leaks and scandals that have plagued this election. People need to start focusing on the undecideds and voters who simply lean in one direction or the other, as well as partisans who may be left behind by their party's increasingly disenfranchising ideology. In the case of the Democrats, it's much more severe. The business Democrats feel disenfranchised. I don't blame them, by the way. There are never Trumpers who want to keep the war machine going. They're neocons. They become like Johnson fans for some reason. They've hijacked the Libertarian Party, by the way. It's obvious Johnson at this point is trying to rebrand himself as being like a mainline pragmatist. It's actually very funny to watch his transformation in accordance with who's giving him money. I suppose he wasn't infallible after all. Again, it's such a surprise to me. I never would have guessed that. It's like I thought he was a god man before the campaign began. Now, I'm not surprised by any of this stuff, honestly. I lack fucks to give on many of these issues. But when WikiLeaks gets involved, or James O'Keefe, if he really has what he claims he has, the elections, it's already decided. The impact that it will have will be tremendous. And WikiLeaks may have even better stuff to release in the future. So don't call Julian Assange a shill, or a Russian spy, or an espionage agent, or some lifetime Republican, which is hilarious since he's not from the United States. It just, it makes you look dumb, honestly, and there have been more than a few people that have claimed this to me. I highly suspect that they were paid to post that material by, maybe Correct the Record or some similar group like that, which, by the way, is getting exposed right now as well. It turns out they were colluding. Super PAC, like CTR, isn't supposed to communicate even indirectly with the Clinton campaign. It's the way PAC laws work. But it looks like they actually were. It's not limited to Clinton. By the way, the reason I'm not going to make a video about that, it's basically like the Trump leak and the Clinton leak that I already spoke of. They cancel each other out. It turns out not only CTR, but numerous Clinton PACs groups are colluding with the campaign. But so are some that are for Trump. As the result, who cares? All these groups get fucked over. No, even Stevens, they've both lost a lot of allies that now have to drag their ass through the court system. And that's really what our election has devolved into. Isn't this exciting, people? Isn't it so much better at the very least than watching Mitt Romney and Barack Obama stand there at the town hall debate that they were at so many years ago and essentially agree on 90% of everything, but really, really strain verbally to make it sound like they had different views on killing third worlders or, messing with the healthcare system or anything else under the sun. I mean, it was a shit show. This election's a freak show. The last election was just so boring that nobody even paid attention. They didn't care who won half the time. I didn't care who won towards the end. It was obvious that neither of them knew what they were doing. Increasingly, it looks like Clinton is completely inept as well as corrupt. there's some level of ineptitude on Trump's part, I will say, honestly. Unless it's indeed all part of some Master 4D chess plan or something like that, yeah, he's making mistakes. I don't think that it loses him the election, but anyone claiming he's infallible, that's stretching it perhaps a little bit, let's face it. That's about all. Peace out.